The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Hey, you want to hear the most frustrating phrase in the world? Smash the patriarchy. It's funny. Nothing that attempts to smash the patriarchy ever smashes box office records. Birds of Prey, the film that no one talks about and even less people went to see, is clinging to relevancy once again by screaming the battle cry of all modern feminist pieces of shit, smash the patriarchy, in an attempt to urge people to rush out the theaters and try to revive the corpse of a film that is Birds of Prey. Bounding into comics has the story. Birds of Prey director Cathy Yan reveals she's pitched Birds of Prey as a film to smash the patriarchy. Birds of Prey, based on a read of the script by Ewan McGregor, has been frequently called a feminist film. Director Cathy Yan revealed her vision wasn't far from that mark. As a matter of fact, she wanted to, in her own words, make girls want to smash the patriarchy and display the worst of modern womanhood. Yan, who directed one other movie before being hired for Birds of Prey, detailed in a new interview with The New Yorker how she pitched the film to Warner Brothers. "I put together a sizzle reel. But it wasn't your typical sizzle reel." Yan says she put together real clips from the ABC reality show The Bachelor and De Beers commercials and President Trump's infamous comments recorded by Access Hollywood. Yan's reel played to the tune of a remixed version of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, a song Harley sings in the movie, dressed as Marilyn Monroe. She stated, "Like the scene from Bachelor's Proposal, the De Beers commercial, Kim Kardashian's vampire facial, Fox News anchors talking about women, Trump saying grab him by the pussy, stuff like that might make a girl want to smash the patriarchy." After I showed the video, there was just silence. Yeah, I would have been silent too at your stupidity, Cathy. Screen Rant agreed, surprisingly. Birds of Prey might inspire girls to smash the patriarchy, saying that the feeling definitely made its way into the movie, as the plot follows Harley Quinn and other women fighting back against the dangerous men who control Gotham City. Screen Rant added, "Plus a large portion of Harley's story focuses on her emancipation from the Joker, whom she has just broken up with. Harley and Joker's relationship has always been toxic, and seeing her step away from that to find her own happiness was one of the biggest joys of the film." In December, Yan offered a similar explanation of her pitch to Collider. She mentioned the sizzle reel and also a pitch deck she put together. Me Too was firmly on her mind. "I put together like a little pitch deck that just had all my thoughts about the aesthetics of the film and the world, and then I also kind of created a sizzle reel. But it wasn't just a sizzle reel where it's like, here's a reference and here's another reference and here's another reference. But to me, the story's super compelling and personal to me because it's about emancipation. About women, sort of like being competitive with one another and bringing each other down, but also because of their own inabilities, I think, to feel so powerless and like the stranglehold that is the patriarchy. And so I feel like I very much have gone through that arc myself. And I've seen it with especially, I think, set against the backdrop of, like, Me Too. Can I just stop for a minute? Reading this woman's quote is one of the hardest things to do. You don't realize how many takes I've had to do because no one talks like this, like every, fucking word. Sorry, I need to calm down. Anyway, Birds of Prey was praised by critics and audiences who saw it for some of its themes, others for romping action. The film has a 78% score on Rotten Tomatoes, but performed so badly at the box office it was outgrossed by the following week's Sonic the Hedgehog in only 4 days. So was this all part of the plan to fail then? I mean, we all know after countless failed feminist film first campaigns that this tactic never works. So why cling to it? Oh, that's right, because the victim card always works in the Hollywood circles. My movie failed. Was it because it was marketed poorly? No, it was toxic fans. How do you know it wasn't a crazy glue sniffer building model airplanes, says the little fairy? Well, we're not buying it. He sneaks into your house once and that's all it takes. The next thing you know, there's money missing from the dresser and your daughter's knocked up. I've seen it 100 times, but I've never watched Birds of Prey. Neither have most people. I was pushed away from Birds of Prey, or its new title, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, because it was a direct continuation of Suicide Squad, or what I like to call the worst DC film in decades. Don't it always seem to go that they go feminist when all hope is gone? It's frustrating, and people are really pushing back at this Hollywood agenda. Now, agenda-driven films in Hollywood is nothing new. Back in 2015, The Blaze had an interesting article about agenda in Hollywood films, and this is what they had to say. It's no longer enough to entertain the masses and make a few bucks. Hollywood is becoming more and more about indoctrination through film. Many audiences are rejecting this, especially when it involves changing an established story in order to force a square peg of the story to fit into a round hole of the leftist agenda. Morality plays are nothing new, and they are a valid form of expression, and can even be entertaining. But are the big summer blockbusters, which seem to be where films are being firmly planted in order to appeal to the largest audience possible, really the place for these agenda-pushing films? Blockbusters exist as an avenue for escapist entertainment. They are the place people go to get away from real life and try to make the outside world disappear for 2 hours, while they engross themselves in a gratuitous car chase and gunfire. The blockbuster is not the place people go to be preached at or lectured to about how they're destroying the environment and starving the homeless for the purpose of their own greedy indulgences. That seems like a fair assessment. I don't know if anyone could really argue those points. We've all been saying that we don't want to be lectured in our Star Wars films. We dread being lectured in our MCU films, especially after the Captain Marvel marketing campaign in 2019. It was frustrating to say the least. And every other geek franchise seems to have fallen victim to the feminist slant. See Doctor Who, Star Trek, and everyone else. No one would have any complaints if these female-led franchises were 1, any good, or B, didn't need to nerf the old characters to disrespect the franchise. They only cry girl power when your average everyday person has no interest in a film or a TV show, and they rely on the fringe minority of social media to pick up the slack. No Time to Die, the now delayed 007 film, was trying that. We heard the on-set edict that Daniel Craig wasn't allowing the term Bond girl on set. There's a female 007. The magazine covers are touting the importance of putting Bond in his place, etc. Anytime a piece of entertainment sets out to right a wrong of the past with the phrase, "it's about time," I ignore it, and I suggest you do the same. These pieces of entertainment are not reparations for the past, they just come off as preachy bullshit, and I'm very inclined to ignore that. I could have been persuaded to see Birds of Prey, I do love a good dumpster fire, but the remarks like this only do one thing: guarantee that I skip your movie. If this message was so important and so impactful to put in a movie, doesn't using an existing IP as a crutch weaken the effect? You want to make a feminist sci-fi film? Don't call it Ghostbusters. You want to make an all-female heist movie? Does it actually need the word oceans in the title? Even when married to these pre-existing franchises, success rarely follows. I'd be lying if I said I didn't take a little bit of pleasure in watching these things fail. Call me an asshole if you'd like, I've been called worse for less. But these are just constant I told you so moments. We, the small vocal minority of toxic fandom, get to sit on the sidelines and laugh while haughty, arrogant films that cost tens of millions, or in the case of Birds of Prey, close to 100, fall flat on their face after people soundly reject the politics of the filmmakers again. Here's a message to Warner Brothers. Don't get rid of DC Comics. Don't sell it off just yet. Make the books great, make the cartoons great, and I'm looking at you, Teen Titans Go. You have nothing on the original series. And ditch the ideology for epic moments. You can keep that stupid bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. I'll take my Good Evening Miss Lane with a side of I'm Batman. So are you guys surprised at this? I'm not. Personally, I saw this coming. I mean, Birds of Prey has been out for roughly a month, did not set the world on fire, did not really make its money back, did not get a release in China. Well, it doesn't matter. Neither did Joker. That thing made $1 billion on less of a budget. My point is, the thing failed to perform. I get it. These movies are products. Do I want every movie to feel cut and dry and like a product like a Transformers film? Hell no, I don't. I'd be lying if I said I did. But there's a nice, happy blend. The earlier Marvel films definitely were products. They had product placement. They were trying to do stuff. But they also felt like epic stories that I wanted to see, that I was anxiously awaiting for the next one in the series. And I can't say that's the same with a lot of movies today. I almost feel like they put this feminist slant agenda marketing as a disclaimer. Don't watch this movie if you're a normal person. We live in a world where $1 billion Star Wars film is considered a disappointment. We live in a world where Star Wars just isn't as relevant as it used to be. And, spoiler alert, I've been saying that since 2015. It's kind of easy to see these things. You don't have to put on the sunglasses from They Live, though this channel will help with that. But connecting the dots, putting the puzzle pieces together is very simple because this agenda, this message, this ideology is very straightforward. It's very basic. It's not like you have to connect lines of yarn like Pepe Sylvia. Who is Pepe Sylvia? Well, watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to find out. But all you have to do is turn on your computer and go to websites like Tor.com or the Mary Sue to see the people praising the agenda, and then go to places that are pretty normal like Abounding into Comics, or sometimes even Forbes. Well, they're not Forbes, sorry, I misspoke. Forbes, they've lightened their stance on the issue, but, well, they still suck. But you get my point. Treat your entertainment consumption like people treat the news. Make sure you get both sides of the story before you willingly jump in and buy it as fact. I just really wish Hollywood would learn a lesson from all this crap. It's not about sending us a message, it's about giving us something to watch, something to believe in even. People gravitate towards great characters, iconic moments. Movies today just don't have them. And you might be saying, well, there's only so many stories you can tell, and Hollywood's just run out of ideas. Maybe that's the case for certain things, especially with those countless remakes and reboots. But why remake a movie and gender swap it? You think you're going to add something new to the film? No. What Women Want from the year 2000 starring Mel Gibson was a hit, I guess. I saw it once on one of those free cable weekends. But you can't say the same thing about What Men Want, starring Taraji P. Henson and Tracy Morgan. Sorry, it took me a minute to think about Tracy Morgan, because usually I think of, hi, I'm Brian Fellows. And well, Brian Fellows, you're just a quirky character. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make, though, is if you're going to remake something and try to gender swap it to turn it on its ear or bring out a new audience, it's just not going to work. We take the hard stance against remakes in general, so there you go. But at the end of it, really, my complaint with Birds of Prey is that it's a continuation of Suicide Squad, which is shit. And it has nothing to do with Harley Quinn's skimpy shorts, or the bad music, or the bad acting. Actually, it has everything to do with those things, minus the shorts, because I'm not going to complain about that. But it's a shit movie, and you get shit return, and, well, shit plus shit equals shit. Sorry, Hollywood. You get what you put in. So I want to know what you guys think about this stuff, this smash the patriarchy film mantra. I want to know what you think about smash the patriarchy in general. I swear, I could see the most beautiful, perfect thing in the world. If it said smash the patriarchy on it, I'm smashing the windshield of the car. I have no interest in that message. I don't think most people do either. People just want to go and have a good time. That's what we try to do here on this channel. Yeah, we'll talk about stuff. You'll learn something every once in a while, but we want you to have a good time. And that's what I want out of entertainment myself. That's why I gravitate towards reruns of King of the Hill. Yes, sometimes King of the Hill has very poignant messages, which is ironic because the show's over 20 years old at this point. Hell, it ended in 2013. But some of the stuff Hank Hill was talking about over 20 years ago still holds true today. But I still enjoy the show for the quirky antics of Dale and Boomhauer and Bill, as well as some of the ego of Peggy. The point I'm trying to make, though, is you can have strong messaging in entertainment and make it great quality entertainment that stands the test of time, but the delivery method has to be perfect. And they don't worry about the delivery method in these movies today. They don't. They want to throw out the words feminist, patriarchy, this, that, and the other, biff, bang, boom. They think they got $1 billion picture. People aren't going to buy into that crap, but people will push back against agendas. Again, see Joker. That was a dangerous film. Don't go to see Joker. You might be shot. You might be harmed. We're calling in the government. Blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Nothing happened. No one got hurt. More people got hurt at Frozen 2 than they did the Joker movie. So sometimes people are just tired and fed up with the shit that Hollywood wants to put out there, or the media, who basically put it like this. Hollywood is an addict. Be it drugs, agenda, whatever you want to say, Hollywood is the biggest addict in the world. And the media, the sycophantic media, they're the enabler. They enable this terrible attitude, this terrible behavior, these terrible traits that are consuming and poisoning entertainment. They allow that. They enable that. The people are like, hey, Hollywood, you got a problem. Step back off the ledge. Stop taking it. Stop the smugness. But you get your websites that want to go on and tell Hollywood how great it is, how brave and strong and different and diverse. Like I said earlier in another video, if you market something to me as like, hey, this is a diverse take on this, I'm just like, diversity goes a lot deeper than skin color and who's straight and who's not. Maybe try having some diversity of thought. That'll get more people hooked than you think. I think Doctor Who could learn that lesson. Instead of trying to right the wrongs of the past and have episodes about Rosa Parks and say, hey, the first Doctor ain't the first Doctor anymore, and we're going to have this female Doctor and that female Doctor, but we're going to also bring up deep cuts from the past. Well, try telling something important first, then rolling the message in there. Make people think. Don't force them to think. Make it happen naturally, organically. We talked about morality plays earlier in the video. Morality plays go hand in hand with The Twilight Zone, which is, in my opinion, the greatest television series of all time. It had something to say. It talked about the human condition, racism, xenophobia, identity, conformity, all of these things. But you know what? It did it with tact. It did it at an era where you didn't have the same free speech on television. You had advertisers and sponsors dictate what was and wasn't appropriate for television. But you know what? You had brilliant people like Rod Serling out there making quality entertainment that is nearly 60 years old at this point. Actually, it is past 60 years old at this point. Excuse me, I misspoke. It's 60 years old and The Twilight Zone still holds up to this very day. So Hollywood could learn a thing or two. Instead of giving the keys to that smug asshole Jordan Peele and trying to make every episode of The Twilight Zone a Black Lives Matter or a Me Too movement, why don't you look for the subtleties, the cracks in society, and stop trying to just right the wrongs that have been righted before you were ever born. In 2018 or 19, whatever season it was of Doctor Who, we didn't need an episode about Rosa Parks on the back of the bus. That shit got taken care of in the 50s. Today is International Women's Day as I record this video. We talk about real women that made real strides in the world, a better place for other women. Well, you're not going to go to Margot Robbie or Cathy Yan or Brie Larson or Daisy Ridley or Kathleen Kennedy or any of these other ones that the enabler system, aka the media, is going to make for Hollywood. So I gotta get going. I gotta get off this high horse. Actually, it's not even a high horse because Dion's afraid of horses. It's just I'm taller than most people. So I'm gonna go, folks. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. If you could do me a favor, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and share it on a social media platform, because YouTube has been nerfing us. We've actually learned why. They do it to a lot of people, and it's bullshit. So could you do us a favor, a solid, help us circumvent their issue by just watching the video, sharing it, letting everybody know that we're out here fighting the good fight for sanity and entertainment. If you really like what we do, we've been putting extra, as in doubling our efforts, over on Patreon to give you guys more. We've been doing our Talking Bullshit segment. Each week, Kendo and I talk about the previous week in politics. And, well, this past week was Super Tuesday, so we're going to be recording that tomorrow. That'll be available for you later in the day on Patreon. We also give you World Class Bullshitters After Hours each and every Thursday night. We record that after our podcast, and then that usually goes a little later, so we put that out on Friday. And then we also have a wrestling podcast. So if you're a big wrestling fan, this is WrestleMania season. 'Tis the season to give a shit about the WWE because it's garbage. The rest of the year, it's garbage. Right now, I digress. My point is, though, we have that podcast, and that's well over an hour as well. We actually gave you a free snippet over on our iTunes feed, so check that out if you like what you hear. We have that, and we also have some connections to independent wrestlers and people that are that have been in the wrestling business, so we're going to be doing something really cool with that. So I said it before, but I'll say it again, folks. Thank you very much, and I have a simple request. If you've been here for a while, you know what it is. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and here it is. Go out into the world and be excellent to each other.